National Conclave on Science and Deep Technology for VIKSIT Bharat 2047. I was listening to Dr. Anil Sastbuddhi, and there are a few points which I really liked. One is that he very clearly called out that history inspires, future directs, and present delivers. So that is something which I will also talk of while going through the slides. Other thing which I really liked from his presentation was that as long as you are applying fundamental science to build a technology for solving a societal problem, that's the best use of science. And that is where he gave example of nuclear energy, that how we build nuclear reactors, right, using the fundamental nuclear science. Third thing which he spoke of was that GDP of a nation is directly related to the number of research publications and innovation index. And that is where he brought in a very nice number that in 1947, India's GDP contribution to global GDP was 3%. Now it is almost 10%. It means it has gone up by almost 3 times. But at the same time, if we look like 2000 years back, our contribution to global GDP was around 32%. It means that there was more research happening 2000 years back compared to what is happening in India now. Definitely it is improving, but there is an opportunity to improve. I think all of you have heard a lot about science and its application over past few days. So in my slides, I will talk more on the ecosystem. So the talk will be more on science-driven vision for India 2047. And then I will tell you that what all we are doing in Telangana. And I'll also tell you that why it's important for each of the steps to actually step up and contribute to this national vision. Because at the end of day, our ambition, our aspiration of becoming VIKSIT Bharat by 2047 will continue to be an aspiration until we get states to implement something in each of their individual capacities in order to realize this vision. So that is something which is quite important. And I think for any state to implement a solution, there has to be an engine. And in the state of Telangana, I could see that government is using science as an engine. That is where you see majority of incubators here in Telangana. We have got world's largest incubation campus, T-Hub, here in Telangana. We have got 20 plus dedicated life sciences incubators with thousands of startups here in Telangana. It means the government has chosen science as an engine in order to implement and take us to this journey of 2047 VIKSIT Bharat. And that is why wherever I go, I say that Telangana is now acting as a laboratory for India 2047. So even if you look into the state, there are execution committees for implementing each program. So for example, for each sector, whether it is life sciences, whether it is aerospace and defense, whether it is logistics, whether it is electronics, you will see somebody from the corporate working alongside government to implement the policies in that particular direction. And that is quite unique. Other thing which we see is that in this state, we have put science in the center and we are building policies around it because we understand that till the time you do not have a progressive policy, it will be difficult to implement the science at hand. Other thing which you will notice is that there is a lot of speed at which things get implemented because as Dr. Anil was saying that if you are not implementing the science at a faster pace, what you have today will be outdated tomorrow. So there has to be speed. Other thing which you will notice is that there is future ready mindset. So what we are thinking of that how we can execute things which are more futuristic in nature. And those are things which you will notice here. And you'll also notice that we are using science as an engine for economic sustainability. And I will give you examples from life sciences later on in my presentation that what all we have done in life sciences space in order to make the state future ready to deliver what is expected in the future of life sciences. And in our state of Telangana, sustainability is not just about environmental sustainability, but it's also about sustainability of having future-ready workforce. It's also about sustainability of global competitiveness. And from that perspective, we are pushing from research to real-world impact. And Telangana is one of the states where you'll see a very good industry-academia collaboration. You'll see a lot of people from academic institutions partnering with industry, and likewise, a lot of industries giving problem to academic institutions to research and solve. You will also see that universities here in Telangana are focusing on solving a problem, not on just giving a degree. So that is where you'll see, if you visit IIIT Hyderabad, you'll see that they are working hand in hand with industry. They have got several centers of excellence where industry has sponsored, and they are solving the industry problems. What you will also notice is that there is a lot of focus on how we can use science to solve the societal problem. Because we realize that we need to have our focus, and we have to leave those ethos that we should not be doing research for research's sake, but we should be doing research for improving people's lives. So other thing which you will notice is that there is a lot of science which is going beyond labs in order to solve real world problems. I'll give you a few examples. So we are using science to solve public health issues, that how we can provide access to people even in the remote areas. We are also doing research on several diagnostic kits for the people's help. We are using a lot of technology in agriculture. As you can see that the number of acres which were available for agriculture several decades ago, now that area is shrinking because people are using land for different purposes. So now we are implementing technology to see that how we can increase the agricultural output. Today, most of the states, they either have a water problem or they will end up having a water problem depending on the amount of water which they are using. So we are using technology in order to see that how we can solve some of those problems. All of us are living in digital era. You can see that most of the transactions now are happening digitally, whether it is booking your flight tickets, booking your train tickets, booking your movie tickets, or making any payments. We are using digital platforms. So again, in Telangana, we are doing a lot of innovation on making these digital platforms accessible to poorest of the poor. Other thing which you will notice is that there is a lot of investment which is happening on youth and the talent. We are making every attempt to make sure that people in the state and they contribute to the research which is happening. We are encouraging students to become scientists. We are encouraging students to become entrepreneurs. And we are encouraging students that instead of being job seekers, you should actually look at solving some societal problem and building an institution around it. And that is what Dr. Anil was mentioning, that even if you look at national level, government has come up with tinkering labs, Atal tinkering labs, where they are encouraging even students in class 6th, 7th, 8th, right, to solve some of the societal problems and encouraging them to build enterprises around it, right? So I think if we look from 2047 perspective, there is a rigor on executing this vision of VIKSIT Bharat. There is also an rigor on putting science at the center and making sure that we are able to use that science for having a societal impact based on some of the examples which I gave you. And I think that if all states, they follow same ethos, and if everybody starts contributing in their own capacity, this VIKSIT Bharat will become a collective exercise and it will automatically happen. So it will become more of a cumulative action and all of us will be there before we even think of. If I give you example from life sciences, where Dr. Anil was mentioning, right, that history inspires, right, and future drives. If you look into Telangana's history of life sciences, it is almost a century old. In 1944, Nizam of Hyderabad, he started Central Laboratories for Scientific and Industrial Research. In 1956, that became a CSR institution, And in 1989, that became National Institute of Chemical Technology, which even is present today. And that gave birth to what you see, all the pharmaceutical research which is happening here in the state. You can also see that based on the foundation which was built by IICT, a lot of companies are today leaders when it comes to APIs, when it comes to generics, when it comes to formulations. And now all the successive governments which came one after the other have built a very strong base. Today, we are seeing that there is a lot of focus on biologics, there is a lot of focus on biosimilars, there is a lot of focus on cell therapy, there is a lot of focus on gene therapy. That is where Telangana government launched its new policy in Davos with a special focus on these new areas. And even if you look into all the pharma companies which are giants in APIs, generics and formulations and have their own name, not just in India but across the world, have started investing in this new avenue. If you look into Aurobindo Pharma, they have a special arm called CuraTech that is dedicated just for biologics, biosimilars, cell and gene therapy area. Laurus Pharma, they have Laurus Bio, which is dedicated only for biologics, biosimilars area. If you look into Dr. Reddy's, they already have collaboration with several biologic companies in order to drive their commercialization. Accordingly, the way I was talking of National Institute of Chemical Technology, today, new institutions which came, they have basically gone to the next level. So if you look into Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, if you look into Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, if you look into National Institute of Animal Biotechnology, if you look into Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Hyderabad Center, all of them are doing very deep research and are helping to drive this new biologics, biosimilars, cell and gene therapy arena. So what I would like to say is that India 2047 will be built by states that dare to experiment. It will be built by states that dare to empower science, and it will be built by states that trust their youth. And we are all set to drive that growth. To conclude, I would say that we are writing a very proud chapter in Telangana by really contributing through science, through policy, and through purpose. With this, I wish rest of the national conclave all the best. Thank you so much.